draft is starting, so let's jump into that. Okay, everybody. Game number 3. It could be the last map of this series. We have Misfits versus Damascus Boys. It's the HGC 2017 qualifier for Europe. And, well, let's just face it, Misfits in this best of 5 have a 2-0 lead, which is pretty good. And also, a lot of confidence, of course, heading into this match now. Battlefield of Eternity, ETC is taken. We have Malf banned. Damascus Boys apparently said, guys, we are done with these silencers of Splendor. The boy has a reputation to be one of the best supports in Europe, and it is well deserved, so let's make sure that he doesn't get the silence any longer in there. We also have a Tacita band out, since of course there's still room for another Tacita play, maybe even with a Tracer. And Alarak, Techa, talk to me about the first pick here for the Misfits, locking in the Alarak and thinking about going for Tychus.
Oh, giving up one silence for another, bringing out the Alarak gives them the good teamfight potential. His burst is solid, as lowering Sadism only affects his damage versus heroes. It doesn't affect his damage versus the Immortals. And Alarak, easily one of the strongest solo laners in the game. He can very easily be left up in that top lane and contest against almost everyone. So he can really just hold anything he needs to. And of course, one of the best pick abilities in the game with that telekinesis into his Q silence.
Yeah, and well, with the Alarak here having, of course, a lot of playmaker potential on the map, Damascus Boys already kind of know what the name of the game is right now. So they know they have to deal with that. They need someone who can deal with him up at the top lane. And they also have, with the next 2 picks, of course, a lot of wiggle room into this. We've seen on this map a lot of plays just focusing on the Immortal, on the objective itself, so you can draft a little bit different. But Vala is still being taken here. We've seen her with a variety of builds, starting to lean a little bit more towards auto-attack focus than the wave clear build, which is of course also a lot easier to execute, and you get a lot of wave clear with it. Have also the potential in a team fight to dish out a lot of damage. But Vala plus ETC so far locked down, and let's see how the Damascus Boys play. I could actually see, again, a Thrall in this setup, but we also have, of course, with Eternal, who played, if I'm not mistaken, ETC in one of the previous games, the potential for him to go for one of those melee assassins that he really excels at.
Potentially, and bringing Alex onto the ETC would be fine, and they could get themselves the melee assassin. Arthas being banned out here, which is a good one to removing any extra tanks. But Misfits yet to pick their own tank, so limiting their options here. So the potential for maybe a melee assassin that Arthas would be quite strong against. Ariel being banned out by the Damascus Boys, limiting the supports for the Misfits. And you mentioned of Valor builds, auto attack, and the W. She can use the Q build as well for just focusing down Immortals, which we have been seeing a lot throughout this tournament.
Yeah, we're seeing Q build mainly actually on this map, so that's a pretty good point to raise. Personally, not a really big fan of it, but it is gaining more and more popularity on this map here in particular, a bit like known as like Korean build. But so far, auto attacks have been a little bit more dominant in the games, at least that I've seen. You casted, of course, a couple of other matches yesterday, so apparently the Q build played a little bit more there.
It's come in more surprise, but like you said, on this map, it's basically only.
I mean, the Q build has definitely a couple of like advantages that you have, especially when you're going up against a strong melee assassin. You get a bit of life leech back, which can be quite nice. Over, of course, tempered discipline that you will usually have in a more auto-attack focused Vala setup. But that being said, we have Poke now available for the Misfits. They go for Muradin since it wasn't banned out by the Damascus Boys. They were rather trying to choke out a bit of the supports here with the Oriel ban. So Muradin still available. And with Tychus Li Ming, we have a pretty scary setup for damage here run by the Misfits. So that is pretty sick. I mean, Johanna and Muradin would both work here, but the damage output that they will have on the board, in addition to Alarak, is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it's very, very nice for them. Running that Johanna would be pretty solid just to interrupt ETC if he wanted to go anything for like a Mosh Pit style, which is probably a bit less likely because of just the sheer amount of interrupts already on the side of Misfits. But either way, they will have that hero potential. It's just a question of how much more damage they want for the Immortal. Johanna offering a little bit less than Muradin, because Muradin does have a bit more single target damage and can even go into a Sledgehammer build if you really want that Immortal burst as quick as possible. Very rare to see it nowadays, just due to the fact if you are playing the Muradin, you want to be sustaining.
Yeah, and the Thunderclap sustain that you then have with the healing study, especially coming in on 13 then. So you want to have that double clap, and that's usually what you're aiming for. But especially before Murder got changed, that Sledgehammer build that you've been talking about has been played a lot, sometimes with a Perfect Storm, even sometimes with a Piercing Bolt to make sure you stack faster, so that you get that extra damage in against structures and the Immortal per se. But the Damascus boys, I really think for them, this lineup that they're up against is pretty crazy. And there we go. So that would be Eternal's hero right there. These melee assassins that he has been playing. And a Zeratul could really make all the difference here. If they play Zeratul, are they going to go for the Jaina as well? That's the question.
It's always a pretty solid combo, and it would mean they still have the double melee if Zeratul can sustain himself in the front line, and ETC can just disengage when they need to as well, but it would give them just a huge amount of wombo setup here if they do go for that Jaina, the very classic Void Prism into a Ring of Frost build that we see so often. And that's basically also going to make it very difficult for Misfits to decide on what healer they want to go with, as they're already limited. They're deciding not by the looks of it, they're thinking about the Lunara.
But I feel the Misfits with a healer, it kind of has to be the Rhaegar here. You get so much value out of him just using the Lightning Shield talent on level 1 if you're trying to raise the Immortal against the opponent. Splendor is fantastic on the hero, so yeah, they go for Rhaegar. At least they are about to lock him in. Zeratul, on the other hand, there's a huge amount of plays that Eternal can really make with that hero. So I'm very curious to see how much of an impact that's going to have, because let's face it, the setup that the Misfits are running here is crazy strong. So guys, game number 3, as I said before, it could be the last game in this semi-final. We have a best of 5. Misfits are leading with a 2-0. We're heading into Battlefield of Eternity. Misfits versus Damascus boys here at the European HGC 2017 qualifier. Alrighty. Let's see. Our lobby should be full by now.
It is. Oh, no, we're missing a player.
Okay. Who's still missing? Okay, one on the side of that. That's fine. Alrighty. Okay. Yeah, I'm really curious how much... I feel like Zeratul has to really make the plays here if they want to have a chance.
Agreed. Like, good Void Prisms could be absolutely game-changing, but the Alarak could very easily be considered the counter to that. If Alarak can just see Zeratul and catch him out of position, that silence can just be the difference between a Zeratul winning the game for his team, and if Zeratul goes down before a team fight really happens, then the Damascus boys are going to be without a lot of team fighting potential.
Hazu on the Tychus and Nurok on the Li Ming. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried for the Damascus boys.
I agree. I will say I'm quite happy to see the Protoss fight coming in here on terms of the melee assassins. It is cool to see. I would say we'd like to see Artanis in that, but seeing Artanis in a pro game is a bit unfortunate.
I also want to quickly give a shout out to Blade, who immediately called me out on my spelling mistake for getting the W in my poll on Twitter, while preparing for his semi-final with the usual German determination, playing a lot of Hearthstone right now, and watching the stream at the same time, I suppose. Hi, Blade. Okay.
Multitasking.
Yeah, it's multitasking right there. But keep in mind, Blades, don't play Hearthstone too long. You're playing next.
We should bring up his APM in game. See how much multitasking he's doing.
Hearthstone APM.
Yeah.
New thing.
It's like the opposite of watching Life Coach.
Oh my god, he's playing this card so fast. How does he do it? Game number 3, everybody. It could theoretically be the last one in the series, the semifinals here at the HGC qualifier for 2017. We have Misfits to the left side of the map with Blumby on Johanna, Hazu Obst on Tychus, Splendor on Rhaegar, Nurok on Li Ming, and Darkmorg is playing Alarak. To the right side of the map, though, we have the Damascus boys. They need 3 wins in a row if they want to make it here in this first qualifier. If they lose, they will have to try again in the second qualifier. We have Alex on ETC, Knappe on Brightwing, Crosby on Lunara, Remaballer on Vala, and we will have Eternal on Zeratul. And not only is he in style riding the money pick, but he's also the one that will have probably the most pressure on him. While we are seeing the build that we talked about during the draft on Vala going straight into the arrow build hatcher.
Yep, starting straight off with that. We're also going to see Guitar Hero on ETC. So basically he's going to get that extra attack speed so he can help his team rush down the Immortal. And also he's just going to get a little bit of extra healing for himself, giving him some more sustain as he is solo tanking for his team.
Yeah, has ops, double checking the bush up here, but Eternal wasn't really hit by that. Has Wobble Blades on level 1. Sitting right next to Hazel, decides that it's not the best idea and just like rides away on the pig.
Yeah, those two just try to pressure each other just by their sheer presence here. Darkwalk pushing up with some sick 360s as he pushes up the lane, whereas Alex taking a couple hits from Norak in the meantime, but overall, the wave clear is very much in favor of Misfits in this bot lane. It's very much up to the Damascus boys to try and pressure and wait for a gank to happen in the top lane. Dartmoor gets his combo off, with Eternal and Nape coming in, trying to focus him down, but Rebel are coming in to try and follow up and nearly gets himself killed, but they get the kill there.
They get the kill and take it, but it was really funny. Remapolo was like, I got your back, guys. Goes in, tries to drop the damage. Alarak turns around, and Remapolo is just like, oh, damn! And just barely gets away.
Tunnel visioned a little bit there, but he survived. They got the kill. Worked out very much in their favor. Alex escaping Blumby there, so they're able to just continue clearing the lane a little bit, and Remavaller using that Q to harass some structures there. It is only minions, mercenaries, and monsters. Doesn't work on structures, not just purely non-heroic there. Zeratul getting more value there, already getting second blood there overall. So 2 kills to 0 in favor of the Damascus boys.
Eternal is sick on Zeratul. He is crazy. I mean, he hasn't been streaming really. But, well, wait a moment. Alex. Oh, that was a close call for him. He barely gets out of there. So
nice escape, nicely positioned. And once again, though, Zeratul is killed off there, trapped as they attempted to rotate up. But this did give the Damascus boys time to very quickly half health that Immortal with the help of Remaballer and that Monster Hunter talent on level 1.
And of course, the moment that I praise him, he dies. But no, if you watch a couple of the pro streams, he didn't stream as himself, but we had a couple of the pros streaming, and they had him in the game on Zeratul, practicing there a little bit or experimenting with the new talents, and he played incredibly well. Talking about good play, though, we have all of a sudden Crosby isolated here and taken down. Dartmoor nearly falling, gets killed, but the stun hits Zeratul shortly after, and therefore he's eliminated now as well. Knappe follows suit. It's a triple kill, a 1-for-3 trade, and Misfits are just absolutely wrecking it right now. Starting, of course, to go for the Immortal again. They might still lose that, but in the kill count, they are taking the lead.
They are very much taking the lead here, doing a lot of damage. Remember, trying to rush this down as quick as possible, and it is going to be a Immortal win for the Damascus boys. But like you said, kills and XP beginning to move a bit more in favor of the Misfits here. Crosby trying to stop the ports there, but just missing in both cases, as the heroes did manage to finish their port animation.
So when we're talking about Zeratul in general, the one thing that really stands out with the changed talent here is that he is just so much more flexible early on in the game already. He's just very mobile and can use a lot of these talents that were only, like in the old build, available to him much later, early on in the game. So he is always a huge presence and a huge threat. The combo slash now, his own version of the follow-through talent here on level 4, is now taken on 4 as the next one. Silence hitting, combo of Darkmog is decent, but once again, the melee assassins fighting their little battle as the top lane was being pushed. No real big pressure there, but he goes through the wall at the bot lane. Bit of experience lead. Vala continuing the build with a puncturing arrow, and so far, none of the teams really too far ahead, but good damage at the bot lane, which is going to account for a lot later on in the game.
Yeah, that fort will go down very quickly the second anyone decides to rotate to it and tries to take it down. Leaving could try and defend it a little bit. He has gone for a very Q-focused build at the moment with the extra spell block, basically with the Force Armor on level 1 and the Charged Blast, so a little bit of auto-attack damage to help follow up on the single target burst that Alarak can offer them.
Talking Alarak, Eternal at the bot lane, there's Brightwing jumping in again. And you've probably seen already earlier how annoying it can be when a Zeratul is there. Brightwing teleports in, hits a polymorph, and then Zeratul gets the value. If you try to annoy your opponents in Hero League even more than that, or an unranked draft or quick match, try to chip in an Abatha every now and then if you have 2 friends that want to play with you. And I can promise you the early game kills are going to be a thing.
Yeah, it was pretty decent. Actually casting yesterday, Zeratul and Abatha. I'm pretty sure it was actually the Damascus boys who did it. Or Team Liquid, one of the two. But either way, it was very, very impressive to watch it happen and to see how much a Thrall was bullied in the bot lane by it.
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, it is super, super annoying. So Zeratul taking down the fort, just jumped in real quickly and took that down. On level 7 we have by now a Wormhole, so another talent that got shifted around. And that's exactly what I've been talking about. Level 1, Wobble Blades, Wormhole on level 7, so you already see there is a massive amount of potential plays that Zeratul can already make at this point. And he will have to do that in order for them to take the game here. It's definitely not going to be easy. Misfits are playing on a completely different level so far in this series. But let's find out if the Damascus boys can come back with this.
Yeah, they're going to try here. Alarak has only just managed to get his level 7 talent back, Chaos Reign, so he's going to be looking for the stacks. Gets one immediately onto Alex, who pulls back onto the enemy Immortal, which Valor has already started. They also do have the Nature's Culling, so they will burst that down very quickly. And yeah, Damascus boys getting a big head start there. Brightwing heading in to get the vision so that they can see where the Misfits are rotating to.
And again, looking for an opening. Top lane is being de-pushed. That's where the camp is headed. And they just try to poke the Immortal down in the meantime. Keep in mind, there's also a camp for Misfits. It's currently at the bot lane, getting some value here for them. But if they win the Immortal, triple combo!
The 3-man silence coming out there. Crosby was able to micro down, but Brightwing may not be so lucky. Splendor chasing in. Darbo gets the kill with his lightning. Revolver denied by the grenade. And we see the great dive by Splendor with that Wolf Feral Lunge there to get that kill.
That looked really good for Misfits, for Damascus boys, until all of a sudden Alarix casually throwing out a triple combo changed the entire tide of the battle.
Yep, was pretty effective by Darkrock there, grabbing multiple people, tries to use a telekinesis there to push ETC away, but isn't able to grab as much as he wished. But either way, it's still going to be an Immortal going over to Misfits unless this defense can put on a really good show, which it is at the moment. And with Remorballer coming back, we're going to head straight back into the style of just the Damascus boys harassing this. And they're actually going back into their poke game. Bloomby trying to deny it, pushing forwards, but the Nature's Culling once again getting value from Crosby.
And still, Damascus boys is currently ahead. They have the fort that they already took down a little bit earlier, and the Immortals are also in their favor, just slightly at this point. But if Eternal can go in and maybe make a quick play here with a Wormhole, they might be able to get the objective. So even though the kill count is in favor of the Misfits, the Damascus boys are by no means behind yet.
Yeah, they're trying to just move in and poke. Like you said, XP is pretty even for both teams. And Valor attempting to just bounce her Q off the enemies onto the Immortal to work it down, as she has the longest range ability at this point. Alex going very deep, but he may have overextended here as Tyker's going to give his life for his team, and it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. But the Immortal does go over to the Damascus boys here.
Yeah, the Immortal has been taken by Zeratul, going deep for the kill.
Yeah. Misfits taking it.
How?
That was what Tychus was dying for. He just all-inned it.
Did he get that in time? It really looked for me like the Singularity Spike on Eternal took it. You're totally right. I was completely... Yeah, I was completely convinced that it was actually Zeratul, because I had the camera on Zeratul going in, going out, and then I was just like, it hit the same moment Singularity Spike hit, so I really thought they won it. But you're right, they actually lost, and that could turn this entire thing around. I was like, alright, worth it at least. But not so much. It's Misfits who make the play now again, but they lose once more Alarak here.
Yeah, but they're going to counter it onto Alex unless Dave can do something about it. And he does the blink heal, saving Alex. Remorballer not so lucky. He is picked off here. And now it is just Crosby harassing the Immortal. Already dead, though. It had no shields at the start of that. The harassment paying off for the Damascus boys here. Keeping it even, but the fort is beginning to drop low. And this may even up the fort count after just a little bit longer.
I mean, they save it for now, though. So that was not only an incredibly close Immortal, but that fight potential that we have the entire time just keeps continuing. And the fort is safe for now, with the one up at the top lane now being pressured all of a sudden by Crosby and his boys. Damascus boys are doing fairly well here now, trying to get a bit of poke in with Crosby himself, of course. I mean, that extra talent on 7 with Nature's Culling helps him against the structures here too. They make the play actually for Tychus, but the Ancestral Healing is in. Hazop still surviving, but not for long. He will die eventually, or will he?
Whoa,
He's still alive.
Healing?
It's a double kill against him.
Heal? Anyone? Rhaegar? Oh, yes, the glow. Is he dead? Tick.
Wow.
Tick. Tick. He's alive. Wow,
no
okay then.
way.
Well played. He stays alive there. The incredible save by his teammates there, and the regen globe keeping him alive at the end there, very barely.
This is... I can't believe he survived that. It looked like it would at least be him dying. Even then, the 2-for-1 trade would of course been still in favor of Misfits, but this is getting insane. Hazop surviving at this, wow, incredible.
Yeah, it's super impressive so far, but the Damascus boys, that fight went really well for them. Misfits just outplayed them a little bit to keep them alive, but overall, still only a 1-level deficit, currently no talent deficit, but that will change quite soon as Misfits do push up the bot lane.
Yeah, Misfits are currently aiming for that 13, of course. If they can put the bot lane in now with the camp here, it would be great. Alex doesn't have the best wave clear, so he will take some time to make that happen. And in the meantime, the next Immortal is going to spawn. Ethereal is already there. Poke a bit. Of course, there's another camp up at the top lane, but it seems like Misfits actually just simply sacrifice it. And so far, Blumby, I mean, with the falling sword, can still make that play here. We have the top lane falling, so that's already gone. Both of them are still angling for potential level 13 talent to help out in the fight. But Misfits have already a slight lead when it comes to the talents.
Yep, they're trying to use that to their advantage. They will have it very shortly. Tychus is in fact going to soak it while also clearing the mercenary camp. Darkrock in position to try and catch Lunara. Doesn't get it though, and as such takes 2 Thornwood Vines for his trouble. And once again, just the incredible harass potential out of the Damascus boys puts Misfits on a little bit of a back foot, but once that level 13 is hit, which is going to be very soon, then we're going to have a little bit of trouble.
That top lane, Hazu will still have to go in and does to take that down. 13 is finally there for the Misfits, giving them also with the Burning Rage a little bit more potential. Wave clear to take it. Earth Shield has been taken. We have Illusionist. And just a few more experience points will drop the 13 talent into the hands of the Damascus boys, which is why we've seen ETC at that bot lane. Zeratul is finally picking also that up. And now we have, for him, of course, the Shroud of Adun, extra shield. And they need to make some play right now, because this is really one of those moments where they could push it even farther in. Damascus boys on the move here.
Yeah, they're trying to once again just continue that harass. They already dropped a lot of harassment onto Nurok, and purely because of this Zeratul, we're seeing some talent adjustment hit. Earth Shield coming out from Rhaegar, and of course that Neosteel plating on Tychus just to give them the tankiness to try and survive the burst.
Yeah, again, Eternal in and out using that wormhole. The interesting part is that they are still ahead when it comes to structures, and quite significantly at that. Yes, it's 10 kills against 5, so Misfits are winning most of the fights here, but we still see even experience and a structure advantage on the side of the Damascus boys. If these forts are taken down by Misfits, they are going to take up that experience and gain a lead, but for that to happen, they need to win the Immortal first of all.
Yeah, and right now, Misfits doing a good job with that. Li Ming really showing her value here by just getting some incredible poke potential onto this Immortal. She doesn't have Seeker or anything like that. She does have Charge Blast and hasn't really been able to land auto attacks, but the missiles on their own are enough to drop an incredible amount of harassment. And now we're seeing a big engage onto ETC. We have the hindered motion from Alarak to try and burst him there. Ancestral having to be dropped to the Haswabs, and Alex did survive.
Yeah, there comes the falling sword. Blumby goes for Vala. A quick Void Prison is being used. ETC jumps on top of that. Norok is nearly dead. Down goes ETC, but Li Ming has been annihilated. Quickly an attempt to get a second kill there. So far not happening. Still Lunara around, hopping in as is. Hazops dropping the damage onto the Immortal. The rest of the team is trying to tap and rejoins the fight. But with ETC out, there's of course no tank at the front for the Damascus boys, but they can get the damage in now maybe. Li Ming is gone, a lot of the poke eliminated, but Crosby is falling. Great play here also again by Alarak. Dartmook himself in trouble, gets healed and saved, and Rema Bala is dying now too.
Yeah, Dartmob with the counter-strike, taking his damage, dropping even more harassment onto Nate and the Thirdle here. And as such, with that extra kill, Misfits will push in and will guarantee their second Immortal of the game here. And with this, they could finally actually get a decent push going onto that bot lane, which unfortunately the fort is still pretty much full. But they're going to have everyone alive. They will have almost all their heroics, just sort of the Odin which they used to push this in. Ancestral will probably pop up quite near the end of the fight.
Misfits are finally gaining a little bit more momentum as a thanks to them killing just way more heroes. Twice the amount that we've seen from Damascus. 13 against 6 kills so far, and with the Immortal of course scaling in strength, this is also finally going to be the moment when they are taking structures. An easy fort at the bot lane is what they are achieving first of all, and thanks to the fort and the tower falling, we see them closing in on level 16 as well, which would drop the additional talent in. We could see that happening with this push, and then potentially even getting a keep as ETC starts to jump in again.
Yeah, he immediately gets cleansed, so the silence from Alarak did not land. Counter-Strike gets a bit of damage onto towers, but not a huge amount else. Rhaegar trying to heal up everything, but 16 has been a hit for Misfits, and as such, they're playing aggressive.
They want to get the keep right now, and the cleanse really important here. So well played using ETC with the jump and the cleanse at the same time to make sure he doesn't get punished for it. But Alex is still under a lot of pressure in these fights. Ancestral goes down on Nuro, keeping him alive. Rega, very early Ancestral throughout all of these fights since he knows about the burst potential with Eternal jumping in on his Zeratul. But with them dropping the ults there, they are easily able to go for the keep and they take it down. Well played, great pressure from the Misfits, and that level 16 talent just pushed them way enough forward to take an easy keep here and now even go straight for the camps, dominate the map, control it. And Damascus boys need to first of all pick up experience to aim for level 16 themselves.
Yeah, they need to get anything they can right now. Bot lane will be pushed up for them, so they will be able to soak that pretty easily. But we're seeing Alarak, he's gone very into telekinesis, and this is what has really been causing the Damascus boys to struggle. The amount of catching Alarak's been doing, and with the quick mind that he took on level 16, he's going to be able to span that out a bit more. It won't really time up well with his Q. He will have to wait a little bit if he wants his Q to be off cooldown too, but even without it, he does have, like we mentioned earlier, the hindered motion, so he can just slow enemy heroes while pulling them towards his team to give his team a chance to try and work him down.
The isolation skills that we've seen from them so far were really good. I mean, still, the one thing that really stood out for me personally was that 3-man combo that we've seen him hit earlier. That was absolutely fantastic and guaranteed them to get a massive momentum swing in their favor. Now with the 16 coming in, there might be a chance for the Damascus boys to make a play again. They lost the keep, but if they win another Immortal, they can still go straight through a keep and with a bit of luck even for core. So this game is by no means over. We've seen a massive amount of kills accumulate on the side of the Misfits, but this could still end in favor of the Damascus boys with a good team fight. But especially Splendor is doing an exceptional job of keeping everybody alive. And he's totally willing to drop early Ancestrals since he is absolutely afraid of an early kill through Zeratul, through Lunara, and just with that burst potential that we have through the melee assassin for the Damascus boys.
Yeah, we are still committed though in terms of builds for a poke-based build from the Damascus boys, and as such they're going to try and work it down. A big race coming out from both teams here. Huge damage from both sides, and it is going to be Misfits who do ever so slightly win that race. But, Damascus boys, if it spawns on their side, their poke could work out. So Lunara especially, taking the Starwood Spear, so she can even harass with her auto attacks a little bit more efficiently here with her extra attack range. For now though, Eternal clearing the waves, not of his team ETC as well, but ETC does have the stage dive to join his team if he needs to. But you can see the Damascus boys playing very far back as they want to be careful. They're on even talents, but they can't afford to fight without Zeratul, but they do want to get rid of the mercenary camp.
Yeah, 2 heroes are missing here in the middle of the map. This is why Misfits are a bit more aggressive, even though they themselves had Tychus missing. He had to de-push the top lane. But by now, with everybody also tabbing again, we have that 5 versus 5 in the mid lane. Vision granted thanks to Brightwing moving in with the peekaboo. And now the poke just continues. Crosby has to be careful. He got caught several times already in this game. And especially Darkmook is a massive threat to him. If Lunara is caught by Alarak, then it's lights out for the Damascus boys. They need to be cautious here.
Yep, both teams actually in fact being very cautious. We're seeing Remember, trying as best he can to get close with that extra Q damage on the Immortal. He could try and work it down. Zeratul getting some great harass there for his team, and Lunara doing some work too. But Catapults continuing to pressure the bot lane, Caldor.
Yeah, and that of course works. I mean, basically it means that we're seeing the red team on a cooldown here, on a timer, because there's the Ancestral again, saving Alarak as Alex engages. They know they need to make a play, and they're trying to make it soon. Alex jumps out with a stage dive, but already we're seeing Bloomby going deep for Lunara, trying to jump in with a falling sword. Alex is in trouble and gets eliminated by Nurok, who just like teleports over and drops his combo. Vala is dead too. Catapults are already about to hit the core as we're seeing Misfits making a final play for the Immortal to end the game. Great play by them. Double kill confirmed. They're 2 levels ahead right now, and the Damascus boys are with their back to the wall.
Once again, Splendor showing in style here, turning up the second Alarak was engaged on. He dropped the Ancestral. Alarak was able to get the counter-strike off to make sure the Ancestral hit. But Splendor, like you said, perfect timings on the Ancestrals all day. And with that, his team were able to survive and capitalize on Alex being very extended, and they were able to catch out Vala, who was a bit far forward too, and are now pushing in with a half-shield Immortal to attempt to go for core.
Yeah, and this Immortal is going to just completely wreak havoc here. They're also very close to level 20. Of course, the entire time Eternal in the backline. Alex is moving in there, trying to make another quick play and see if they can maybe turn it around. Dartmouth already with the Counter-Strike, moving into the Void Prison as we see the falling sword of Blumby jump straight on the top on the head of Zeratul, taking him down. Alex wants to kill Dartmouth. Alarak finally eliminated, but it's a double kill against the Damascus boys, which follows.
Yeah, Brightwing Blink healing to Crosby, trying to escape. Nurok does not have enough mana for any more abilities, but they've slowed by the totem. He is taken down. That's 4 for 1 here in favor of Misfits. They're pushing it with the Immortal. That is GG, ladies and gentlemen. And Misfits will take the game in the series and will move on to the league.
Congratulations to Misfits. They qualify for the HGC 2017 3-0 over the Damascus boys. Well played.